1. There we go. All right. Hi, everybody. Strange start, I know. I was having a problem. I couldn't hear anything. I had no volume, and I didn't know if it was something. Is it a cord? Is it a button that I accidentally pressed? I don't know. I wasted a good, 30, 45 seconds going, oh my God, why did I just hit the countdown and I can't hear the countdown and I can't hear myself? What's going on? Yeah, I realized that I hadn't plugged in my headphones. I was wearing the headphones, but they weren't plugged in, so I'm an idiot. Hi, everybody. Welcome into the Rant. I'm Pugs Moran. Happy Friday. I'm unshaven. I didn't sleep well. It's stressful nights. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about. And that's what we do here on The Rant. Every day I sit here and I give you everything that you need to know about the world. I perform a stream of consciousness rant. That's me, no interruptions, no stops, just me talking. I perform a stream of consciousness rant on all the day's news, highlights, headlines, trends, whatever it is. We do it in 4 quarters. The first thing that we do is we do a segment called Antecedently on This Day. It's a pretentious way of saying this day in history. I go through a couple of things. I cherry pick them. If I'm being honest, this day, not a winner day. Not a winner. This day's got like some bullshit that went on in it. It's just nothing even particularly interesting. But we will do quarter 1 antecedently on this day. Anyway, quarter 2 is birthdays. Those are people who are celebrating birthdays. We talk about them. Are they cool? Do they suck? We move on to quarter 3. Quarter 3 is deads, people who died on this day. And not everybody. I mean, I'm not going to mention your Aunt Ethel, but, famous people who have passed away on this day. We talk about their lives and we decide whether they went to heaven or hell. Those are the first 3 quarters. Those are fun. The 4th quarter, that's where we get into all the day's headlines, hot topics, current events, whatever it is that people are talking about. We're going to get into it. And we're going to get into it in a way that you probably can't hear many other places, because we're going to do talk radio here, as we have been every day, Monday through Friday for 3 years now. We're going to do talk radio the way that I think it should be done. And that is without any particular partisan political filter, without any kind of agenda, without any kind of, my biggest advertiser is, blank. I don't want to say anything that would upset their chairman. That's what radio is. This we do well. We scrape by the skin of our teeth. We're in a pledge week now. I'll talk about that in a minute, but we do it here because there is no place else for this kind of talk radio. Hold on. I got a problem with my microphone. There we go. Let's say hi to the chat room. Our chat room is a happening spot for 3 years now. People have been gathering and chopping it up every day between, say, noon and 2 Central Standard Time. Peter's here. Hi, Peter. Peter's here. Adam's here. Leslie C. is here. Jen is here. Taronda is here. Let me keep going. Hold on. I always got to make it bigger so I can see the people who are in first. Rainy Days, checking us out. Mikey D, as always. Barney, the sports bras. All right, chat room is filling in. Come one, come all. Say hello. Today, my drink of choice is not an energy drink. It's a classic American energy drink. It's just called Raw Coca-Cola. That's right. I think they should rebrand. I think original Coca-Cola should be rebranded as Raw. I don't know. It's got a very edgy seems to be the way to go. Here's why I think they need to. That would be a crime. Why would you rebrand Coca-Cola? Because the only people who still drink Coca-Cola are over 70. Those are the only people. Everybody else under 70, their primary Coca-Cola product is Diet Coke or Coke Zero. Nobody drinks this fully leaded garbage anymore. I used to love it. When I was 12 years old, ooh, man, Coca-Cola was all I would drink. Coke, Pepsi, didn't matter. I was a cola nut, if you will. I probably have one fully leaded Coca-Cola a year now, and this is going to be my allotment for the year because I got to be honest, it sucks. It just doesn't taste right. You know what tastes right? Coke Zero. Coke Zero tastes right. Coke Zero is like perfect. This is like 500 calories of regret. Actually, I don't know how many calories are in a single can, but it's not even good. And it's not even like it's too sweet. It's just, it tastes weird, tastes different. Screw you, classic Coca-Cola. I proudly proclaimed in front of an American flag. I know, blasphemous, right? McDonald's, Coca-Cola, two great American companies. We'll be talking about McDonald's today. McDonald's, you know me, I'm a big, big supporter of McDonald's. And coincidentally enough, I do believe that the Coca-Cola product is best served out of a fountain in a McDonald's. Nah. You know, at points during this stream of consciousness rant, I will need something to drink because I just get myself a little dehydrated. I'm going to have to go with water for that today because that is not refreshing. Coca-Cola is not refreshing. It feels heavy. It's like I'm drinking a Guinness. I'm like, I just... I think it's clear that since 1990, we have really improved our liquid options, non-alcoholic liquid options. It used to be, you know, if you were a kid in 1984 and you wanted something to drink, you had Coca-Cola, Pepsi, soda pops. You had Sprite, maybe 7 Up, you know. If you were raised by trash parents, you had Mountain Dew in the house. That's right. I said it. You had trash parents if you had Mountain Dew in the house. Juice wasn't even a thing. And then like when in the early 90s we started to get like Lipton iced teas mass marketed, and then you know, maybe you switched over to that. But it wasn't until like 92, 93, 94, that's when the energy drinks, and that's when Gatorade really took off, and then we had the Powerades, and now we got our drink options in 2024 non-alcoholic are pretty good. Remember when kids in the 70s, when they'd go out to dinner with their parents, the only thing that they could drink were like basically we were grooming children in the 70s to order cocktails at restaurants. Do you remember the kiddie cocktail or what? Because it was like your parents were all getting sloshed, and it's like, oh, let's let the kid play along. I don't know if that's I mean, I'm fine with it. I like a good kiddie cocktail, even now, even today. A kiddie cocktail with, what is that? Some grenadine and some 7 Up. That's pretty good. But it is funny how we were grooming our kids to be like, you drink cocktails at night. Oh, yeah, it was, you go out to dinner with your parents and it was always Cokes, not Diet Cokes. They didn't have Diet Cokes. They'd look at you like a communist in 1983 if you ordered something called a Diet Coke. You got real Cokes. And then if it was a special occasion, you got kiddie cocktails. Adam's here. Adam says you're unaware that Coca-Cola is huge in the Mexican in the Mexican community too. I don't know what's I don't know. Okay, all right. I've had the Mexican Coke. You know, it's that Mexican Coke. It's the greatest thing ever. It's got real cane sugar. It's mid. It's mid. You people are way overselling that. I drive to Dublin to get the the Dr. Pepper with real cane sugar. You're a dork. You're like, that's weird. You drive all the way. You're stupid. It's just mid. It's good, but it's mid good. Byron says my weed vape is Shirley Temple flavored. There you go. Byron, heavily leaning into the grooming. Very good. Very good. Byron says Royal Crown for the win. That, if I'm being honest, that was, I guess, like, that's the soda. I don't think at the time I considered it my favorite cola. But now when I think back on RC Cola, it's like, it's got a very nice sentimental place with me because in the Chicago area, for some reason, all the pizza places had deals with RC. The pizza place, you didn't get a pizza and get a Coke or a Pepsi. You got pizza and you got Royal Crown, RC. So Friday night pizza nights always came with like a 2-liter. Or if you want to go back, remember the glass bottles? They were like 1-liter glass bottles. That was before Americans decided that they wanted 32 ounces of liquid with every drink. Now I will accept nothing but a Big Gulp. And now I go into 7-Elevens and I look at the Big Gulp. Remember the Big Gulp when it first came out? When the Big Gulp first came out, it was, wow. Holy cow, that's hysterical. 7-Eleven thinks people are going to buy that much soda. We did. And now we had the Super Gulp, which was even bigger. And now we've got the Double Gulp, which is absurd. Sizing. All of a sudden, everything's got to be like 32 ounces. We used to get a large soda, okay, Grandpa, here's Grandpa telling stories. We used to order a large soda. It was like 12 ounces. Like a small soda was like, a spoonful. And now it's like a small is 32 ounces. A large is 64. That's too much soda. Let's see here. Adam says, Adam is the guy who's pushing Coca-Cola on the Mexican community. He says, I'm saying that we drink it and in the can. Rarely do I have a Mexican Coke. It's too flat. Okay, I don't know about that. Yeah, you should. What I'm saying is, so why is the Mexican community still living like it's 1986 in America? Why hasn't the Mexican community moved over to the more healthy? I don't even know if they are healthy, but we were told they were healthy, and that's why I made the switch all those years ago, and now I drink Coca-Cola Zero exclusively, which is a total lie, because the truth of the matter is I drink the Kroger generic brand of Zero Cola, which is exactly like Coke Zero. We did a taste test side by side. It's exactly like Coke Zero. And by the way, I'll also offer this hot take on the Zero Cola War game. Pepsi Zero. Pepsi Zero might be better than Coke Zero. I'm just saying, Pepsi Zero is good. You always go to the place where you order a Coke Zero. You're like, can I get a Coke Zero? And then the waitress has to get all apologetic because she thinks it's going to affect her tip. She's like, I'm sorry, we don't have Coke Zero. All we've got is Pepsi Zero. I'm like, score. Cool. That's fine. They're both the same. Jeff Ballard out there in the cornfields of Iowa, he says, I don't want a large Farva. Give me a liter of soda. Full liter. Jesus, Jeff, a full liter of soda. That's not, what I'm saying is that's wrong. We had it right before everybody was 300 pounds. Did you guys realize that in the 1980s, William Perry played football in the NFL and he weighed 305 pounds? And the entire country made fun of him because of it, because someone 305 pounds in 1985 should not be playing professional football. That's absurd. 305 pounds. He was like the biggest, fattest guy in the NFL at 305 pounds. Now, you got to be 315 to get drafted. Not now, it's like, so look, and I think that has to do with the big gulp. There you go, full circle. We all started drinking, 2,000 calories a day in soda from 7-Eleven, and now we've got 315-pound offensive centers. Pretty good. Yeah, a liter is a big gulp, basically. It's the same thing. Yeah. Well, because 2 liters is, I believe, 2.5 big gulps. So 2 liters is, I might have that wrong. I don't know. I'm not going to spend that much time thinking about it. Yeah, Peter says, now we're all fat. Yeah, some of us always have been. All right, let's get started. As I said, we are in the midst of what we call a groveling pledge week. We're close, guys. If you want to draw your attention to the little scroll down there below, we are close. We have an executive producer today. A bunch of you tipped yesterday. Thank you so much. This show runs because you guys make it so. We have to make like a certain amount of money every month. And that amount of money is like $100 a week. It's like something so stupid that we struggle to do every freaking month. But we keep it going. We've been going for 3 years. It is getting harder and harder to justify it, though, with the new studio and with the time constraints being what they are. It's, But, hey, thank you to everybody who helped out this week. We're not there. I don't think we're going to get it. $105. We could get it. That's a bomb. People have dropped $100 bombs before. We could get there, 105, but so help out if you can. Every little bit counts. A couple of people yesterday dropped like $2, $3, $5. I fucking love that. I mean, look, I love like $50 more. Don't get me wrong, but I love that. Thank you so much, because you know what that is? That's somebody who's like, hey man, I'm not rich, but I do enjoy this, and I'm just going to show that I enjoy it. So thank you so much. Those people are important, and they add up. So thank you. We also need our bombs to drop, though. We haven't got many bombs this month. We did get a nice bomb today, though. Our executive producer, I think we got 2 executive producers. Not exactly the same amount, but that's okay. Wait, no, Hold on. I feel like I screwed up here. Hold on. I got to look for something. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. Look at me. I made a mistake trying to make a good impression on people. And hold on a second. Hold on. I got to make something here. Oh no. Did I misspell the name? Hold on. We got to make sure I do this right. Because this is important to me. Hold on. One more time, and then we're gonna get this show. I promise. We're not gonna like. Okay. Screwed that up. All right. All right, there we go. Our executive producers for today's show. Please say thank you. Nope, that's not it. I did the wrong one. Here we go. Our executive producers for today's show. Please say thank you to Tiffany L. and April. Thank you, guys. Got us like, you two alone got us like knocked off almost all. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Who's going to be the executive producer for Monday? Who's going to tip on today's show? Thank you so much. Appreciate you. All right, we got to move on. Because I fucking just hate this, and, it just gets into... I like to do the rant. I like to just speak. I got other things on my mind. My kid, check this out. I wake up at, I shouldn't act like because it's actually exciting. It just complicates things. I wake up 7:30 this morning. 7:30 this morning, my kid sends me a text. Was just curious. We should hang out this weekend, right? It's not supposed to be my weekend, but I'm always down for it, so that's great. So I text Mom. I'm like, is he in trouble or something? And she's like, no, he just got off grounding. He's fine. I'm like, oh, okay. So he's not mad at Mom. Like, you think like maybe that's why. So then I say, cool. Let's talk about it later. To which he responds, how much later? Time waits for no man, he adds. All right. And I said, well, kiddo, I wasn't expecting that you were coming. Got to try and work some things out. And then he says, oh, I was just curious. We don't gotta. Right? Like he's trying to be nice now. So here's what I'm thinking we're going to do, because I do have something, but it's not that important. See, this is why when we open the show, I said, I'm a little anxious. I'm like, because I love spending time with my kid. I love having him on weekends. And I love that we have this system now with our giant extended family where it's not like, it's my weekend. No, it's my weekend. It's just wherever he wants to go. Like if he wants to come hang out, I love it. And we're all very cool with it. And, his mom and stepdad are probably like, yeah, he can leave for the weekend. It's not a problem for us to not have a sulking 15-year-old stomping around the house for 2 days. He can come. He can come to you guys. For you, whoever. So that's what's going on tonight. So we got that. I think I'm going to work that out. I think we'll do that. And what will we do this weekend? Is it going to be nice? Is it hot? How hot is it right now? I can tell you in the E-Gallery studios here, the beautiful Kelly Moore Memorial Studio at the E-Gallery. I can tell you it's very hot. The air conditioning has been out all week. The air conditioning at the house was out last week for a couple of days, and then it came back on, and it's lovely there now. And then, of course, the air conditioning at the studio goes out. Ugh. All right. Thank you to Tiffany and April for helping us get through this humiliating pledge week. Jeff says, now I got to cancel the hooker. You think I can afford a hooker? You think you... Especially with my taste, Jeff. Come on. If I'm getting a hooker, it's going to be one of those like 25-year-old $3,000 an hour. And somebody else is paying. I'll tell you that right now. If I get a hooker, somebody else is paying, and it's going to be a real expensive one. Can we have this conversation? Have you ever seen real hookers? Like, have you ever been driving down a street like here in Dallas? I guess it would be Harry Hines. in Chicago, it could be just about any underpass that leads to an expressway. If you drive and you look at actual hookers, this is another big lie that TV and the movies gave us. TV and the movies told us that streetwalkers were hot, and they're not. They're like, what variety of man is keeping these monsters in business? I'm not kidding. Have you ever seen a streetwalker? It's like people are paying for that. Oh my God. But then they got a thing called high class escorts, who are, fancy, actresses who haven't gotten their big break yet and stuff like that. Those are the ones that I would get if I would. No, I would look. First of all, if you're like I was going to say, if I'm a billionaire, I'm going to have so many women, so I wouldn't have to do that. But I don't know, if I'm like a traveling salesman and I'm out of town, I got an extra $3,000 to blow because that big deal went through. Maybe I might get one of those, but nah. Anybody in the chat? Here's a question for the chat room. Any in the chat room ever get a hooker? Is that a thing? Did you guys? Anybody want to admit it? We can talk about that. That's a rich man's game. If you want to do it right, that's a rich man's game. That is not a game for a guy who makes an hourly wage. You're never going to get anything good. It's just a waste of money. Anyway, all right. Apparently, this little conversation didn't take off in the chat room. I do apologize for that. All right, so we'll stop talking about why hookers aren't actually attractive. We'll move on. Plus now it used to be like hookers used to be like hooker with a heart of gold. She was a girl who got off a bus and tried to make it and didn't make it in the big city. And now she's hooking. That was the story. Now it's all sex trafficking. Now it's all like 20-year-olds that were born in Honduras. And why do we get so dark? Why did you get so dark? The last day of pledges and you're getting dark like that? You are a fucking self-saboteur. You know that? Ladies and gentlemen, that's my former co-host, Schizophrenic Me. I don't think he's made an appearance here at the E-Gallery. Schizophrenic Me is the person who lives in my head that tells me every great idea I've ever had is terrible. Schizophrenic Me is the person that when I look in the mirror feeling good about myself, looks back at me and says, you are a fucking dork. That's Schizophrenic Me. He'll be around from time to time. Peter says no. Peter wants to go on record bravely as saying that he's never had a prostitute and that he is happily married. So brave, Peter. So brave. Byron, there we go. You get truth from Byron. Byron says, I visited a house of ill repute in Juarez, Mexico when I was 12. Well, when I was 17. Only time. For $27 American, I got 3 women's session and 2 glasses of mezcal. That's how you live as a 17-year-old. Yeah. Let's see here. Anybody else want to claim it? Peter says he loves the free form. Schizo hasn't been here in a while. That's worth it. Peter, there you go. Schizo! Hold on. He's not around now, Peter. He doesn't want your tip. I do. But see, Schizo does the exact opposite. What do you say we get started? We've done enough of this nonsense. We'll revisit this topic later. Let's get started. It is the Rant. I am Pugs Moran. It is the 4th day of October, year of our Lord, 2024. It is the 278th day of the year. That means there are 88 days remaining until New Year's Eve, so get those New Year's Eve plans started. Let's do antecedently on this day. This is where we take a look back at the things that have occurred on this day in history, and we try and apply them to our current situation. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't work. Okay. Antecedently on this day. Year of our Lord, 1957. Sputnik 1 becomes the first artificial satellite to orbit the Earth. Sputnik 1. The Russians, they beat us to space. Our history books don't really. We moved the goalposts a little bit, if I'm being honest. If you want, because I love the space race, being born on the day I was born and all that, and I've been a bit of a mini historian of all the space stuff. We moved the goalposts. And then we quit. We took our ball and we went home. That's the true story of the space race. It wasn't always the first to the moon. It was the first to space. It was to get into space, to return something from space, to get a man in space, to put a human being in space was a huge accomplishment. And that was the race. And the Russians beat us on both. They beat us on both. So we moved the goalpost. And we declared to the world that, the real race is to the moon. And that one we won. And then after we got to the moon, we went, we're done. It's over. Game over. We won. We won. We won. We won. And we shut down our whole space exploration thing. That's not very cool. It's not cool. It's not cool for humanity at large. It's not cool that's not what a winner does. When we went to the moon, we beat the Russians to the moon. We quit. We're out. We're done. We're not going to the moon anymore. We're going to do other stuff. But we won, just so the whole world knows that we won. No, you didn't win. We won the race to the moon, but I don't think you can say we won the space race. They put Sputnik up in the air on this day in 1957. On this day, antecedently in the year 1993, the Battle of Mogadishu. The Battle of Mogadishu, Black Hawk Down. I had my buddy who I talk about all the time, Pat. He was in the Battle of Mogadishu. He was in Black Hawk Down. There was even an actor who portrayed him, although they gave him a different name. It's okay. So it's like a story, like he was, even still during the filming of Black Hawk Down, which was a good 20 years later or so, I don't know, 10 years maybe, whatever. He was still a ranger and a spook and an undercover and, all of this kind of stuff. So none of those guys, none of the guys who were really the heroes and the most important in that, if they were still in the military when that movie was being made, they didn't give real names, and the movie didn't use their real names. They had to protect them. So my buddy Pat was one of those guys. But man, I've gotten drunk with him, and I've asked him about the real story of Black Hawk Down. He says the movie got it pretty right. He says, the movie, obviously it's a movie, so it's never going to really show you what it was like to be in that thing. But the movie got it pretty right. And it was on this day, 1993, the Battle of Mogadishu. Battle of Mogadishu occurs, killing 18 U.S. Special Forces, 2 UN peacekeepers, and at least 600 Somali militiamen and civilians. My buddy Pat would go on. He was the hero of do you remember the Baylor nurses? Remember when the Iraqi war first broke out, in 2002 or something, whenever that was? And they had taken hostages. They had taken a bunch of missionary nurses from Baylor University, and they were held hostage. And then we sent the Rangers in. Yeah. My buddy Pat was, I'm not going to say he led that mission, because that would be too specific as to who he was. But he was the guy. He was the guy. Battle of Mogadishu, Black Hawk Down, on this day in 1993. On this day in 2004, Spaceship One wins the Ansari X Prize for private spaceflight. I remember this. This was a big deal to me. Again, space nerd. But this was before the Elon Musks and the Bezoses and the Virgins and all of that. There was a prize out there for somebody who could create a semi-orbital vehicle that could then return to space. And it was on this day that it was won by Spaceship One. Spaceship One was then immediately retired. It now resides in a museum. Congratulations. On this day in 2006, WikiLeaks was launched. WikiLeaks. I went to journalism school, and I still don't know what the fuck WikiLeaks was, because it sure as hell wasn't journalism. It was just a repository for journalism would be an interpretation of facts as they pertain to a story that is important information for us. Those are sort of how that's not what that was. That was just cold publishing of information for other people, other journalists, if they felt so inclined, could then take that information and create something. So I don't know what WikiLeaks was. They're hiding behind the First Amendment. Now, the First Amendment this is a very complicated thing for me, the whole WikiLeaks thing, because I am a free speech guy. But that was really, and the dude himself, Julian Assange, he is such a shady character. I do not believe that he has any real journalistic integrity, which is what he stood on to defend himself. I don't know. WikiLeaks, it ain't journalism. Barney has some Black Hawk Down stuff. He says, interesting thing about the Black Hawk Down movie, having your name on the back of your helmet was not a thing the military did. They did it in the movie to make it easier for the audience. Yeah. Yeah, well, they do that. Yeah, they do that a lot too. Like in the movie Rudy, in the movie Rudy, there's a scene where everybody's turning in their jerseys, and they all put their jerseys down on the coach's desk, and you can see the names because a lot of the names would go on to be NFL players. Except here's the problem: Rudy was set at Notre Dame, and Notre Dame has never had their names on their jerseys. It's not a thing. Notre Dame doesn't do it. Barney says putting your name on the helmet is now standard military practice. Okay. I don't know. That's cool. Rob says, dude, I haven't seen them in over 20 years and I see them out again. What? What, Rob? What haven't you seen in 20 years and now you see them out again? Yeah, I don't know. All right, let's keep going. Let's do birthdays. That's it. I told you it wasn't a really eventful day, historically speaking. There's some Revolutionary War stuff, but not even significant stuff. Just like, let's move on. Let's do birthdays. People claiming it's their birthday. These are celebrities born on this day, supposedly. I don't know. I haven't called their moms. On this day, born in 1822. Got to mention this guy because I wasn't gonna mention him, but then I went. The mere fact that I'm not going to mention him sort of supports my contention that this dude is the greatest spare president of all time. Dude was a president of the United States. And I don't know if he's like the most spare of all. He's one of the most spare of all time. But here's why he may not be. Because his name is kind of flamboyant. He's got kind of a flamboyant, so maybe not the most spare, but certainly there's an argument to be made for the birthday boy. Born on this day, 1822, Rutherford B. Hayes, 19th president of these here United States. Born on this day in 1923, Charlton Heston. Charlton Heston. Wasn't he gay? Schizophrenic me. See, schizophrenic me thinks everybody's gay. I don't know, schizophrenic me. Is Charlton Heston gay? That's what I heard. All right, whatever. I don't know if that's true or not. It's what schizophrenic me heard, so therefore I guess it's what I heard. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anyway, because yesterday I sang the praises of Roddy McDowell for playing Cornelius in the Planet of the Apes movies, and I talked about how much I love the Planet of the Apes movies. That's why I will always defend Charlton Heston. Damn dirty apes! Remember that? How cool was that scene? How cool was that scene where he's walking on the beach and it's just like a wasteland, like a prehistoric wasteland of a beach, and he comes around a corner of a sand dune and he looks and he sees sticking out of the sand the head and arm of the Statue of Liberty, which then in that moment tells him that he is actually on Earth, but in the future, and the apes have destroyed America. Damn dirty apes! Thank you, Charlton Heston, born on this day. There's also Spartacus. That's pretty gay. I don't know if you ever seen that. Wasn't he Spartacus? Or is that somebody else? Ben-Hur? He was in one of them gay gladiator movies. Let's see here. Born on this day in 1923, Charlton Heston. Born on this day in 1941, Anne Rice. She wrote all those vampire movies. She's also, like the queen of New Orleans. I always rip on New Orleans because I'm like, what's that city about? And I always point to like the fact that right in the middle of their downtown, they have a condemned skyscraper. It's like, it should be like the Empire State Building of their city. But instead, it's just like got broken windows and there's barbed wire against the property and you can't go near. And it's right there in the middle. I'm like, that is just poor city management having that thing there. Anyway, the other thing that I don't like about New Orleans, we were walking around the neighborhoods. We were going to some place. Oh, this is a great New Orleans jazz club. You got to go to it. So we're walking down the street. And we walk past this like really kick-ass, gothic, scary-ass Munsters house. Like this really cool old New Orleans mansion. And the person I was with goes, that's Anne Rice's house. Anne Rice. Vampire, what does she do? She didn't do Twilight. She did the Interview with a Vampire. Vampire gets his driver's license. Bad Day for Vampire. She did all the vampire movies. Vampire in Love. But here's the thing about her vampire mansion there in the middle of New Orleans on this regular street as we were walking to this bar, club, whatever. I'm like, that's Anne Rice's house? And the reason I had that response was because the house was glorious. It looked like an absolutely beautiful mansion that was kept up by a very wealthy, creepy person. That is what the house was. But then I look next door and there's a crack house. And like across the street, there's like a bunch of dudes, let's call them minorities, just hanging out, milling around. And I'm like, this is where Anne Rice lives in New Orleans? New Orleans can't even protect the neighborhoods of their super wealthy. What the hell, New Orleans? Anne Rice, born on this day, year of our Lord, 1941. She's dead now. Born on this day in 1944, Tony La Russa. Oh, Tony, do I have a complicated relationship with baseball manager Tony La Russa? Tony La Russa is a great manager. You can't manage yourself out of the Hall of Fame, can you? Can you? He tried. Yes, he did, schizophrenic me. He did try. He tried to manage his way out of the Hall of Fame. Tony La Russa was a great manager in the 1980s and 90s. When I was a young boy, my first real season where I was a diehard Chicago White Sox fan, Tony was my manager. He was young. He was cool. He was hip. He was Italian. He had a gold chain with, the little Italian horn there. He was, his manager of the South Side White Sox. It was all cool. He was cool. It was awesome. And then our owner screws up and he ends up leaving us and going to Oakland and winning a whole bunch of World Series. Then their guy screws up and he ends up going to St. Louis where he won a whole bunch of World Series. And then he retires. And then he gets a bunch of DUIs. He did. He got a whole bunch of them. So then my White Sox, they're rebuilding. They put us through this rebuild. They're like 3 years in, and it's time for our manager who's going to win us the World Series. And they went and they brought Tony La Russa out of retirement, and that dude fucked up my team so bad that here we are 2 years later, and we have now set the record for worst team in the history of baseball. And don't say, well, Tony's been gone for 2 years. No, he ain't. He's just not the manager anymore. Tony La Russa is still sitting up there right next to Jerry Reinsdorf, giving him all the advice on how to make the worst team in the history of baseball. So happy birthday, Tony La Russa. We had our time, dude, but we need to stop now, okay? Born on this day in 1946. Here's an interesting one. I'm going to ask you guys a question here because this is something that has plagued me for years and years. Because as far as I'm concerned, she's always been kind of an older lady. She's always been kind of a MILF/hot grandma kind of a deal. But apparently she was apparently very attractive in her younger days. And I think we need to decide if that's actually true or not. So let's go. Let's check this out. It's her birthday. She was born on this day in 1946. I'm going to ask you the question. Hold on. What is this? Wrong page. I'm going to ask you a simple question. Was she hot when she was younger? Okay, that's the question I'm going to ask. All right, here we go. Ready? Happy birthday. Born on this day in 1946. Was Susan Sarandon hot when she was younger? I don't know. I do not know. Let's take a look at some pictures of young Susan Sarandon. I think she might have been. Oh, look at that. Look at it. Sexy, right? We'll give her at least sexy. She didn't wear bras much. Apparently that was her thing. Susan, the bug eyes. She's got kind of Shelley Duvall eyes, doesn't she? Are the eyes off-putting or are the eyes hot? I tend to see eyes like that as being, crazy girlfriend eyes, but that's kind of hot. I'm thinking Susan Sarandon might have been hot back in the day. She's hot. Susan Sarandon was hot back in the day. I think that we need to, yeah, okay, there you go. We've answered that question. Happy birthday, Susan Sarandon. Congratulations. The Rant with me, Pugs Moran, have deemed you hot back in the day. Born on this day in 1946. Born on this day in 1956. Boy, if I had to make a list of my favorite actors of all time, or my current favorite actors, certainly. If it was my current favorite actors, this guy is top 5 without a doubt. This guy is awesome. He came out of nowhere. I love everything that he does. He has a range. He has an ability to be hysterically funny and the scariest MFer you have ever been around. He has the ability to pull off a heroic leading man and the arch villain, the worst arch villain of all time. So without further ado, let's say happy birthday to the great Christoph Waltz. Come on, man. Christoph Waltz. He's the best. He's German. He's German. He's got an accent, but he is so cool. Django Unchained, get out of here. Inglorious Bastards, get out of here. Dude, that scene in Inglorious Bastards in the very beginning where he drives to the house and he's sitting there and he's interrogating the person who's he's a Nazi interrogator. Oh, whatever he is. I don't know. He is awesome. Anyway, he's also very funny. Wanted to show this to you. This is Christoph Waltz. He did an episode of Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis. Hold on. So let's check this out. Okay, here we go. Christoph Waltz appearing on Between Two Ferns, one of my favorite actors alive today. The greatness of Christoph Waltz. Here we go. Between Two Ferns, very funny. Go.
Mr. Waltz, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Christoph Waltz is here from Django Unchained. I got your text about not bringing up your Mein Kampf tattoo, so I won't. Have you ever thought about changing your name to Christoph Breakdance?
I have, but it doesn't really make sense.
What is your preparation to get ready for a part?
That's none of your business, to tell you the truth, because I think it's completely overvalued, these stories about actors' preparations.
It's part of my business.
I don't need to...
Don't sit there and run your mouth
fill
back
you
at me
in on
English, French, German, or Italian,
noticed
and come to my show and say that
magicians
that's none of my business. It's all of my business.
wouldn't dare to tell you how they do their magic tricks.
Do you say the N-word more in Django Unchained or more in real life?
More in real life.
No, I think that's it.
Oh,
There you go. Misty, I'll take you.
where have you been? Thank you.
All right, there you go. The great Christoph Waltz celebrating a birthday today, born on this day in 1956. It says here, isn't he Austrian? He describes himself as Austrian-German, and that's what it says right here. Christoph Waltz, Austrian/German actor. So either one, I guess, Adam, either one. Born on this day in 1957, celebrating a birthday, Russell Simmons, American businessman, founder of Def Jam. Russell Simmons. He get away with stuff? Did he write checks? I'm just trying to remember. Russell Simmons, didn't he get, you know what I mean? Didn't he get Me Too'd? I don't. Anyway, happy birthday, Russell Simmons. I don't remember exactly what you did, but I'm sure it was something. Born on this day in 1967. Here's another one of my favorite actors. I was just talking about Christoph Waltz. This is another dude. I even watched some really stupid Netflix soap opera special miniseries a couple of weeks ago with him and Nicole Kidman. I even watched it only because of him, but also because of Nicole Kidman, because I like Nicole Kidman too. And if you're telling me that you're going to put Nicole Kidman in a movie with our birthday boy, Liev Schreiber, oh my God, I'm watching that. So let me tell you why I like Liev Schreiber. First of all, he years ago, the first time I ever saw him in anything, he made a movie, RKO 44 whatever. I don't know what it is. It's a movie. It was an HBO film that came out probably in the late 90s. And Liev Schreiber played a young Orson Welles. And it was the story. It was a film. It was the story of how Orson Welles got Citizen Kane made. And I remember seeing this guy play Orson Welles, Liev Schreiber. I didn't know who he was. And I'm like, that guy's cool. I like that guy. He's a good actor. And then he's done a whole bunch of things. And every time I've been like, he's a good guy. He's a good actor. And also, the other thing about Liev Schreiber that people I don't think realize is that he's one of the most frequently heard voiceover actors in the business. Narration, anything. Like, well, he's most notably, he's the voice. He's the narration voice for HBO Sports. Anytime HBO does like a documentary about something, the narrator is always Liev Schreiber. He's most famously known as the voice of Hard Knocks. That's Liev Schreiber. That's the act. And it's so weird because the voice, the way he does reads and the way he does narrations on Hard Knocks, you would never close your eyes and picture Liev Schreiber, who's kind of a bigger guy, kind of a tough guy. In fact, that brings me to what I wanted to talk about since we're mentioning Liev Schreiber and it's his birthday. His characterization, his role in the Showtime series Ray Donovan is incredible. I don't know if you folks have ever seen Ray Donovan. It's one of those sleeper shows from about 10, 15 years ago. It was on Showtime. It was a hit. I mean, it's a critical darling. The critics are all like, this show is pretty damn good. But I don't know that it ever really got all the heat. Ray Donovan is played by Liev Schreiber, and Ray Donovan is a Hollywood fixer. We talked recently about the job description of being a Hollywood fixer when I was talking about the movie Wolves, Brad Pitt and George Clooney's new movie that's on Apple, where they play fixers. Fixers are people who come in and get rich people out of trouble. If a rich person actually kills a prostitute, you call a fixer. You don't call the police, you call a fixer. And the fixer comes in and makes the body disappear and cleans it up and accounts for your time and does all of that kind of stuff. So that's what Ray Donovan is. Ray Donovan is a fixer in California. His character is actually based on a guy named Sidney Korshak, who is another very interesting real person. You should go and read his Wikipedia page. But Ray Donovan is based on Sidney Korshak, and it's just modernized. Ray Donovan, as portrayed by Liev Schreiber, is the manliest man ever. I know I give that title to Patrick Warburton in all of his roles where he just oozes testosterone, but that's a comedic manliest man. The like straightforward, badass, how do you want to carry yourself out on these streets? That's Ray Donovan. Let me give you an example. If you've never seen the show Ray Donovan, let me show you a clip from it, because this is essentially who he plays in this character. Now remember, he is a Hollywood fixer. If a celebrity has a problem, they will pay Ray Donovan, and Ray Donovan will take care of that problem, no matter how big or how small it is. And this is just an example of how cool-ass the character of Ray Donovan is. Here it is. This is him in a nutshell. Ray Donovan from the Showtime series, Ray Donovan on Liev Schreiber's birthday.
This happens every day, Paige. It's not my problem.
Every day? We need to work on that.
Tina wants a chance to host the show.
Over my dead body. I'm the host. I'm not going to be held hostage by that bimbo.
She's not coming out of the trailer unless you promise her a chance to host the show.
Paige, who is this guy? Debbie, you're up. There, problem solved.
That doesn't solve your problem.
No, it doesn't. Mr. Liu asked specifically for Tina.
Let me make something clear to you. Tina Harvey wears a tight dress. She spins a fucking wheel and keeps her mouth shut. She's a pair of tits and an arm. Who the hell do you think you are?
I'll go get her.
Thank you. You guys that, no sound. Very good. All right. So what I was saying there was Liev Schreiber. Happy birthday. There we go. Born on this day in 1976, Alicia Silverstone. Alicia Silverstone, as I was saying, she should be more famous, right? Alicia Silverstone, what happened to her? She was like such a big star. She did the Aerosmith videos. Remember how weird those Aerosmith videos where they just had two young girls that were like super hot and super promiscuous, and they were wearing Catholic school girl uniforms, and they were simulating some kind of, I don't know, we were led to believe that there was some kind of relationship at times between these two girls. Let's put it this way. We were led to believe that these two girls had made out with each other before, right? That's the whole video. It's a very sexualized, hypercharged string series, if you will, of Aerosmith videos featuring Alicia Silverstone. Here's what made it weird. When we all found out that the other chick was the lead singer of the band's daughter. Remember? It was Alicia Silverstone and Liv Tyler. And it's like, hey, that other chick is really hot. Do you think the guys in the band are banging these chicks? Huh? They're rock stars. No, I hope they're not, because one of them's their daughter, man. It's just weird. It's like so overly sexual, but whatever. Hey, rock and roll dads, man. He didn't raise her. I know we're supposed to be talking about Alicia Silverstone, but Steven Tyler didn't raise Liv Tyler. It's not like they were. Anyway, happy birthday. Born on this day, 1976, Alicia Silverstone. You used to be a huge star, and now you just do weird videos that go viral and make people think you're nuts. Born on this day in 1988, Derrick Rose, D. Rose. Love Derrick. Love D. Rose. D. Rose forever. God, one of the saddest moments. Injuries, baby. Injuries. Good Lord, man. Derrick Rose, happy birthday to you. Born on this day in 1988. In my Chicago sports Twitter feeds that I hang out on, the big debate going on this morning about is, in fact, Derrick Rose the second greatest Bull of all time? For me, I think, yeah. I think, yeah. I think he is. I think he's the second greatest Bull of all time. But we saw more of Scotty. So, I mean, obviously, Michael Jordan is like the greatest Bull of all time. But, like, what's second? And, for years, it was always just Scotty occupied that default position. But, I don't know. I like Derrick more. I didn't like Scotty much. Nobody likes Scotty much. Scotty was the redheaded stepchild who, let us down in the playoffs. All right. Screw you, Pippen. I'm going with Derrick Rose, second greatest Bull of all time. Guys, I'm sorry, my voice is getting a little squirrely here. Born on this road in 1988, Derrick Rose. Born on this day in 1989, Dakota Johnson. Dakota Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. Happy birthday, Dakota Johnson. Dakota Johnson is a, what do they call them, Nepo baby? She's like a third generation Nepo. Oh, I don't think so. Stupid. No, I got 37 seconds. What happened to our American flag? Look at that. Look at that. Big business, capitalism, interrupting our appreciation of the American flag so that they can cram some dog food. Yeah, so they can cram some dog food commercials down our throats. I'll wait. Oh, I'll wait for the American flag. 15 seconds! You're really testing my patriotism. Anyway, Dakota Johnson, Melanie Griffith and Don Johnson, she's their kid. So she's like actually, come on! She's actually like third generation. Actually fourth. Here's why. Because, her mom, Melanie Griffith, was a Nepo baby. Her mom was Tippi Hedren, I think. And then Tippi Hedren was the daughter of like somebody else, but whatever. Anyway, there you go, Dakota Johnson. What a shock that you made it in Hollywood with Melanie Griffith and Don Johnson as your parents. Does she suck, though? Does Dakota Johnson suck? I got to be honest. There is no star appeal there with Dakota Johnson. Like, whenever I see Dakota Johnson in something, I'm like, yeah, absolutely nothing special about her. She's attractive. That's a dime a dozen in Hollywood. She doesn't pop. She doesn't like sizzle. I don't know. Nepo baby. Born on this day in 1989, Dakota Johnson. Good for her, whatever, no hatred. She's fine, I don't hate her, but she doesn't pop. And I just always wonder, what was the difference maker for her when she was getting roles early on as a nobody? What was the difference maker? What's her X factor? Oh, her mom agreed to do a walk-on in the film. I get it, okay. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. That's it for birthdays. Let's talk about dead people. Let's open up life resumes on people who died on this day. Again, celebrities. We're not going to, talk about your Uncle Phil who died on this day. Let's talk about this death, 1970. Let's figure out where she went. Janis Joplin. Heaven or hell for Janis Joplin. So, just from like biographies and stuff, she was a train wreck woman, but not a mean woman, not a cruel woman. People, as a matter of fact, people talk about what a sweet and kind and, kind of genuine individual she was. She took incredibly good care of all the people who were around her, especially when she made her money. And then, you hear stories like the famous story that Jimmy Johnson, former Cowboys coach, told me about, how mean he was. He went to high school with Janis Joplin, how mean he and everybody in the town was to Janis Joplin because she was weird. She was weird. She was different than everybody else in Port Arthur, Texas. So, of course, we had to beat the shit out of her and run her out of town. She's going to heaven. Yeah, we're putting Janis Joplin in heaven. She didn't live long enough, I think, to be a real asshole. And from the evidence that we have, she seems to have had a pretty tortured life until she became a star. And that was brief and fleeting. And now she's gone, but we still talk about her today. So good for her. We're going to put Janis Joplin in heaven. Dead on this day in 1970. Dead on this day in 1989, Graham Chapman. Graham Chapman, one of the original Monty Python flying circuses. He was the gay one. Not that that matters, but it does. It's interesting. I'm all about what's interesting. Why is it interesting? Because it's sexual in nature and humans naturally respond to more lascivious things. But are you making a judgment? That's schizophrenic me. I'm not making a judgment. I'm just saying it was interesting that Graham Chapman was openly gay in the 1980s as a member of one of the most revered comedy troupes ever. Graham Chapman. Dead on this day in 1989. Can I also say something that has nothing to do with anything that I just said before that? I can? Thank you. Okay. He was also the worst member. He was like the worst member, Graham Chapman. For me, anyway. If we're all pressed to make a list, I don't know why we would. But I can't imagine anyone related to Graham Chapman or anyone from Monty Python is listening to this, so I'm not really going to hurt anyone's feelings, not directly and certainly not indirectly. I'm not trying to. Graham Chapman, dead on this day. He was the worst of the Monty Python people. He was the worst. All right, on this day, dead, 1989, Graham Chapman. Dead on this day in 2004, preemptively, he's going to heaven. He's going to heaven because, God damn it, we revere our American heroes around here in front of the American flag. Dead on this day, 2004. One of my heroes, Gordon Cooper, ladies and gentlemen. Gordo Cooper. Come on, man. Mercury, Gemini, or do you say Gemini? Gemini, Mercury, Gemini, Apollo. Was he in the Apollo program? Gordon Cooper, one of the great astronauts in the history of American astronaut stuff. Gordo Cooper, man. Gordo Cooper was so cool as an astronaut that if there's a fictional version of like the space race or the astronaut program from them, if there's like a movie about it or whatever, and the characters are fictional, there will be an astronaut who they call Gordo. There will always be, and that's an homage to the great Gordon Cooper. Gordo Cooper. There may also be a Buzz. You'll see a Buzz and a Gordo. Buzz can claim the same thing, but Buzz wasn't cool. Buzz Aldrin wasn't cool. Buzz Aldrin just had the cool name. Gordo Cooper was the cool one. Gordo was the fun one, the guy who took advantage of the chicks, I'm just saying, Gordo Cooper was like the image of the astronaut that they projected to America. That was like that was John Glenn, right? That was John Glenn. But the real astronaut that was out there balling out and having a good time was Gordo Cooper. Gordon Cooper, American colonel, engineer, and astronaut, born on this day. Not born on this day, dead on this day in 2004. He's going to hell. Heaven! Sorry, he's going to heaven, not hell. We could probably make a case for Gordo Cooper going to hell. I'm sure he got into some stuff around about 1967 in Cocoa Beach, Florida. I'm sure there were some things covered up, but I don't know, just based on what I know and my biased reverence for those astronauts, we're putting Gordon Cooper in heaven. Born on this day or dead on this day in 2022. We're also going to put this person in heaven preemptively. We're going to put this person in heaven preemptively because I once heard Dolly Parton say that this woman taught her how to be famous. And when you look at Dolly Parton, and when you think of who could teach a master class on how to be famous, I think Dolly Parton would be the person you'd bring in to teach that master class. She's an icon, she's a treasure, and she's just kind beyond all get out. This person who died on this day in 2022 is who is credited with making Dolly Parton that way, at least as far as her public sort of. On this day in 2022, we put her in heaven, Loretta Lynn, the coal miner's daughter, who Dolly Parton revered and looked up to and was kind of taken under the wing of and taught how to treat people and taught how to be. Loretta Lynn is going to heaven. There you go. Loretta Lynn on this day. In the year 2022, she passed away. Guys, I got a voice problem. Hold on. Oh, I'm sure a swig of Coca-Cola will fix it. It'll fix everything. It'll even take rust off cars. All right, folks, let's move forward with today. We'll move into quarter 4. This is where we talk about all the hot topics, current events, trends, and all the stuff that are actually happening in this world. One more time, I'd like to remind you that we have an executive producers on this show, the incredible Tiffany L. and April. Thank you guys so much. It is Pledge Week here on the show. We need your gratuities and your tips if you support this kind of non-divisive talk radio. We don't care about politics. We're not going to talk about Bruce Springsteen. We're not going to talk about Kamala and whoever. We're not going to talk about Melania. We're not going to do that stuff. They're all topics that are on the table today, but we will not go there. Why? Because we strive on this show to do something different, right down the middle. I don't give a shit how you vote. You shouldn't give a shit how I vote. In fact, I won't even tell you how I vote because that's private. This is a show for normal people. We do it every day for 3 years now, Monday through Friday at noon. Normal people, people who know how to behave in a Target, people who are not going to get kicked off an airplane, people who are still in good standing with their family come the holiday times. That's who this show is for. Not those other fucking loud, dumb people on both sides. 15% of people on the right are absolute morons. 15% of people on the left are absolute morons. It's down to the 70% of us who can work together, who can call each other idiots and assholes and still be like, yeah, that's cool, because you are too. And let's move on with our life. We don't hate each other. We don't hate each other for our differences. Hell, that's what makes this goddamn country so beautiful. So if you support that kind of talk radio, the kind of talk radio that we've been doing here for 3 years now, please drop a little something. Help the show out. We're going to put this up now. This is the Cash App and this is the Venmo. That's how we raise funds for this show. It's how we do it. There you go. And I'm done with that. So let's move on. Okay. Where are we at? We're at 105. I think I may have heard a couple of tips today. So thank you, people. Even if it's the little ones are awesome. That's fine. Look, the little ones don't really move the needle all that much, but on a more important note, it moves this needle. This is the needle it moves. So, I need water because I'm thirsty. All right, let's get started. Here we go. Quarter 4. The first story we're going to cover here is Israel. Israel is happening again. We don't know. We're still waiting. We're still waiting to see how Israel responds to earlier in the week. There were ballistic missile attacks from Iran into Tel Aviv in the suburbs. People died. Not terribly, though. We're sitting here waiting. That's it. I'm just going to start every show with Israel. You're up. Israel is now at the plate. They've got the bat on the shoulder, and it's been like 3 days. So they've basically let like 3... Hold on. 3 pitches go by. This weekend, though. We are all expecting this weekend. No sound? See, now there is a sound problem. Is there no sound still, or did that just come through? Can you guys tell me? Sound. You guys tell me if you got sound. This sucks. Ugh. Maybe that was just a slow text. Is that what it is? Let's just pretend that's a slow text. Jesus, how long is this delay? I mean, you're perfect. There you go. Thank you, Jeff. All right, there we go. God, this delay sucks. Why is there such a delay on this restream? I don't want there to be a delay at all. I don't like delays. All right, Israel. So this weekend, right? That's what we'll be watching for this weekend. I'm going to bring the equipment home in case war breaks out, in case, Israel responds. Israel's been doing small things in the days since, but it's all been focused on the northern incursion of Lebanon, which we knew was already happening. That was already happening before Iran sent the missiles in. So specifically, Israel's going to respond to Iran. They say they are, and we'll be waiting. All right, there you go. That's story one. What's this one? Oh, how about this one? The longshoreman strike has been settled. We were talking about that all weekend. I told you about that dude, the guy who runs the longshoremen's union, about how he's, I love that guy. I love that guy. You got the deal. They kicked the can down the road. Let's be honest. This isn't a long-term deal. What they did was they negotiated a settlement, which would run through the election, which would stop any kind of this becoming an election issue. It would also run through Christmas, which is, it's not going to fuck up Christmas. And they're going to get back together on, I believe it's February the 15th, and they're going to try and hammer out a long-term contract. What they've been able to get now through the holiday season is a very nice bump up for all the longshoremen and a promise to come back to the table in February. Okay. That dude got it done, man. That dude got it done. And by the way, the settling of this, do you remember? I hate people. I hate you liberals. I hate a lot of you MAGAs too. But, some of you liberals are just really irritating. So the liberals were trying to get it trending that this was a Trump strike, that this guy was a Trump fan, and that they were showing pictures of him meeting with Trump. Well, he met with everybody. He's the president of the longshoremen. In 2020, this guy endorsed Biden. I mean, come on. So whatever, you can say that. But it getting settled just shows how stupid those people were, going, Trump is doing this on purpose in order to cause disruptions during the elections. Oh, shut up. Has nothing to do with Trump or either one of these guys. However, he did get a deal for his people. They did kick it down. They're not going to disrupt Christmas. The election is not going to be an issue now. People aren't going to be able to blame this suffocating longshoreman strike on, the economy or whatever, and that's not going to happen. So good, we move forward. We'll deal with this again in February. Nobody wants to go to work on the docks in February anyway, so expect there to be a lengthy strike then. Here's the other story that came out about this guy. This is some kind of people are dumb. People are just dumb. This dude... So there were all these, I'm talking about the president of the Harold Daggett, I think is his name, president of the Longshoremen's Union, a real warrior for the working class. I mean that with a straight face, even though I'm about to say something that's going to make you go, what? Harold Daggett, the stories about his mansion in Long Island have been going around as a way to sort of prove that he's not real. He doesn't really speak for the working man. He lives in a mansion. And I'm looking at this going, you people are stupid. That's just a belief that a stupid person would have. You would just, an illogical thought. Here's why. Yeah, you can speak for the working man as he did eloquently and really seemed to be convincing with his passion. And we're going to cripple you. All that stuff. I fucking love that. You can do that as the international president of the Longshoremen's Union. That's kind of what the international president of the Longshore, that's what they want in the international president of the Longshoremen's Union. That's the character that they want, and they got that character. Now, let me ask you this. Do you fucking think that's an hourly job? Do you think that he punches a clock to be the international president of the That's a big fucking job, man. That's bigger than any NFL general manager. That's bigger than most guys who own banks. That's a massive job. You can be two things. You can be somebody who actually believes in the plight of the working man and will go to the mats for them, as he did, sending his boys on strike for 2.5 days. He did it. And the fact that he makes a good living as an effective leader for those people should have no bearing on whether or not he's a fraud or not. Shut up. You are stupid. You think a labor leader of a union that big doesn't make $1 million a year? What the fuck? What world do you people live in? Of course he's got a mansion. Of course he's rich. He's incredibly successful at his job. Don't know if you've heard, but he's the international president of the Longshoremen's Union. That's a good paying job, fuck sticks. Did you think it was, you probably make what, $35K for that? No. You're talking about a dude who's responsible for 50,000 people and multi-billions of dollars coming in and out of this country seamlessly. That's a job with a very nice paycheck. But he lives in a mansion. These Trump guys in their mansion. Oh, fuck you, man. This dude went to the mat for his people, and guess what? He fucking won. He won. Give him another mansion, because you know what? The people, the rank and file in his union, they think he deserves it. Look at Pugs carrying water for the 1%. You're stupid, Jeff. That was the direct opposite of that. Besides, a dude who has a $5 million mansion is not necessarily a 1%er, dude. The 1% are the people with $100 million mansions and football teams in their portfolios. Those are the 1%ers, okay? Longshoremen's Union president, who probably makes over $1 million a year, is not a member of the 1%. Sorry, this is the other thing, the self-realization, the whole mansion on the hill syndrome. You fuckers who make like $2 million a year with your 5 fucking tire shops in North Texas, you fuckers are not rich. I know you think you are, because all you do is hang around with normal working class people, and to them you are rich. But you are not fucking rich. You are not. I'm sorry. Dude with your big dumb boat on Lake Louisville. You are not rich, man. You know who's rich? The guy who owns Lake Louisville. That guy is rich. That was a shock to me as I grew up, as I became older, because growing up, like the richest kid in my neighborhood, his dad owned a car dealership, and they were like rich, and I thought that was rich. And then you get a little bit older and you go to a college somewhere and you start seeing other levels of wealth. Like then the dude who owned the radio station that I worked at, I was like, that dude is rich. And he is rich now. He's a billionaire now. But back then he wasn't. I was like, that dude is rich. And then I moved down here to Texas, and holy shit, did I see what oil money was. A little bit different. Being a part of the founding family of, Exxon Mobil gives you a little bit more money than a dude who owns 2 radio stations in Chicago. See, but that was a mind blower to me. How big a difference between the super rich and just the regular dude with a nice boat on Louisville are. And yet all of the dudes with the nice boat on Louisville, they identify with the super rich, because that's who they want to be. They don't identify with us. Jeff says $787,000 a year is considered 1% in America, Pugs. I'm about to ban Jeff Ballard. The fucking stupid statistics. Okay, cool take, bro. Not what we're talking about. That's not the colloquial way that we use the term 1%. We're not talking about dudes who make $1 million a year. We're talking about dudes who own MGM. That's who we're talking about. And if you don't make that distinction, then you are a dishonest broker. You're not understanding what I'm saying here, Jeff. A dude who makes $1 million a year is not in the same league as a guy who makes $200 billion a year, Jeff. It's not the same thing. Barney says those guys are rich, but they aren't powerful. Rich people have money. Powerful people control resources. Barney knows. I'm with Barney. Power. Power is what it's all about. Trump ain't one of those super rich guys. But you combine the power. I mean, Trump doesn't have Mark Cuban money. Trump is not a rich guy. Trump is not Warren Buffett. Trump is not Andrew Beale. You don't even know who Andrew Beale is. Andrew Beale, you don't even know. That's how many of these fucking silent super billionaires there are. Andrew Beale owns the largest house, or the most expensive house, in Highland Park, Texas. It's like $120 million right there on Creekside Boulevard there in Highland Park. $120 million for this house. Nobody knows who he is. But you know what? He has presidential candidates flying into his backyard. That's power. And that's money. And you don't know their names. And those are the ones. You never fucking heard of Epstein before all of this shit. Before all of there's a billionaire molesting children. He was around for years. You never heard of him. Those are the ones you need to be scared of. Those are the real 1%ers in this country that control everything. And Barney's right. They have both money and power. Let's see here. Sports bras say powerful people land their helicopters on their football team's field during practice. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. I just don't like the disparity between. Never mind, we're not getting into it, but don't ever tell yourself that we're not India. We are a caste system. We have a caste system in this country. We just don't call it that. It's a silent caste system. Longshoreman strike is settled. Good. There's a win for the good guys, the working man. Although somehow Jeff will twist that into me carrying water for the whatever. Shut up, Jeff. I can talk to people like Jeff, Barney, Adam, and Byron like that. And Peter, even to some extent, I can talk to them like that because they know that there's true love there. And when they're stupid, I'm going to tell them they're being stupid. And when they tell me that I'm stupid, I'm just going to tune them out and not listen because I don't let you define me. Let's see. Oh, so chick in Colorado who was, she got 9 years. I don't want to get into this. It's a whole political thing, but she was one of these, she was doing something with fake electors in Colorado. She's hardcore Karen. She's defiant. She got 9 years in prison. There you go. Here's the headline. Former Colorado Karen gets 9 years. That's my headline. That's the headline that I wrote. She looks like a Karen. She's got the Karen haircut, and she's like, eh. But anyway, she was apparently behind a scheme that was really clumsy because look at her. She's not exactly, Ocean's 11. She totally, was dumb about it. Not as dumb as Aaron Hernandez. Oh my God, you guys, I'm still watching the Aaron Hernandez documentary. I can't believe the level of incompetence that guy showed as a murderer. He was so sloppy. Moving on. Next story. Garth Brooks. Let's talk about Garth Brooks. How weird is this story, huh? Nah, I don't know. I don't really think that Garth Brooks is hanging out with P. Diddy, but it's nice to know that the country boys got their own, bag of weirdness going on. Apparently, Garth Brooks is being accused by a hairstylist for his wife, Trisha Yearwood. Apparently, he's being accused by a hairstylist of rape. Straight up rape. The story broke, CNN broke the story. Here, I'll read it to you. We'll go through the details. Garth Brooks has been accused of sexual assault and battery in a lawsuit from a hair and makeup artist who worked for him and his wife. Country music star, excuse me. That's not worth a tip. Look at me. You think people are going to tip you and you're belching into the microphone? That wasn't a real belch. That was a Coca-Cola belch. I'm drinking Coca-Cola for the first time ever, and my body's going, what the fuck is this shit? Also, I think I got to stop swearing, but me swearing like this is just an indication of how comfortable I feel around you guys. Country music star Garth Brooks has been accused of sexual assault and battery in a lawsuit from a Jane Roe. What the fuck is that? Jane Roe? You mean Jane Doe? I thought when reading this article the first time through, I thought, oh, that's just a mistake. That's a typo. They meant to write Jane Doe because, when somebody anonymous, you're a John Doe or a Jane Doe. That's how it always is. But now for some reason we've changed it. I didn't attend that meeting where we all voted on whether or not we were going. Now we're calling women Jane Roes. Why? Is this for Roe versus Wade? Kind of micro insurgent thing are you putting out? No, let's just still call them Jane Does. I thought it was a misprint. And then I read it and it references Jane Roe like 3 more times. And then it references John Doe. Which I'm like, oh, you're so gay. All right, see, that's also, I'm trying to bring back the use of the word gay to not mean anything sexual in nature, just to mean, The complaint filed in state court in California on Thursday and obtained by CNN states that the alleged incidents occurred in 2019. Well, this is recent bad behavior from Garth, relatively recent. She claims that she was once raped by Brooks during a work trip. In a statement to CNN, Garth Brooks said, "For the last 2 months, I have been hassled to no end with threats, lies, and tragic tales of what the future would be if I did not write a check for many millions of dollars. Hush money, no matter how much or how little, is still hush money in my mind. That means I am admitting to behavior I am incapable of, ugly acts that no human should ever do to another," Garth Brooks added. "We filed suit against this person nearly a month ago to speak out against extortion and defamation of character. We filed it anonymously for the sake of the families on both sides." No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You filed it anonymously because you didn't want the scrutiny. It's right there. All of the stuff that he said there, I'm like, okay, maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe he's telling the truth. And then he tags it with obvious bullshit. We were so outraged at the blackmail that we filed a suit saying this is not true, and we filed it anonymously because we didn't want the newspapers to get a hold of my name being involved in this. But that's not why you claim you filed. It's for the families on both sides. Okay, stop it. Prior to Roe's filing, calling her Roe again, prior to Roe's filing, and as first reported by CNN, an anonymous celebrity plaintiff, now disclosed to be Garth Brooks, had tried to block Roe from publicly repeating her allegations and fiercely denied the claims. This, according to a previous complaint that he had filed under the name John Doe. Doe. So they are making a distinction. So it's Jane Roe's and John Doe's. Oh, stop it. Roe began handling hair and makeup services for Brooks in 2017, according to her suit, which states that she first was hired to do hair and makeup for his wife, Trisha Yearwood. CNN has reached out to representatives for Yearwood for comment. Here's a quote. I cannot get into settlement discussions, but the suggestion made by Brooks that he was unwilling to pay millions is simply not true. Douglas H. Wigdor, an attorney representing Roe, said in a statement. We are very confident in our case, and over time the public will see his true character rather than his highly curated persona. In addition to sexual assault and battery, the suit accuses Garth Brooks of repeatedly exposing his genitals and buttocks. Oh, he's one of those? He's one of those guys? He's got to have a big dick, or at least he's got to be like completely comfortable with it, because those are the only kinds of dudes who do that. Like any dude who's got any kind of like humility, or let's be honest, knows better. And that should really be the criteria, like knows better than to whip out their genitals in public. But anyway, it's a thing that young men do. And I think it's the confidence of, having, what is going to be impressive. You don't see a lot of like Asian and Irish dudes doing that. That's just not their game. Garth Brooks, though, he's a dick whipper. Danny Bonaducci was a big dick whipper. Who else is a big dick whipper? Louis C.K., big dick whipper. Garth Brooks, he would whip it out. That's a special kind of dude, right? Like, do you have any friends who would whip their dick out and think it's funny? I mean, I don't hang around with morons, so I don't. But that's like a dude. Like if I'm out with a group of dudes and we're partying and everything, and one of them goes, "Yeah, look at my dick," and he starts doing that, I don't hang around with that dude anymore. That dude's weird. That's a weird thing. Yet dudes do it. And we move on. It says here, in addition to the sexual assault, the suit accuses Brooks of repeatedly exposing his genitals and buttocks, talking about sex and sharing sexual fantasies with Roe. He would regularly change his clothes in front of her, and he would send sexually explicit text messages. Well, it seems to me that she would have those sexually explicit text messages. So we will know soon enough if any of this is true. In her filing, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm having a bit of a throat thing. In her filing, Roe claims that during one alleged incident in 2019, when she was at Brooks' home for work, he walked out of the shower naked, grabbed her hands, and forced them onto his genitals, while speaking to her with sexually explicit and vulgar language. In another alleged incident in May of 2019, the suit alleges that Brooks raped Roe in a hotel room during a work trip to Los Angeles, where Brooks was taping a Grammy tribute performance. According to the suit, Brooks and Roe traveled to Los Angeles on Brooks' private jet. Usually there were others on the plane, but this time, Miss Roe and Mr. Brooks were the only two passengers. The complaint states, once in Los Angeles at the hotel, Miss Roe could not believe that Brooks had booked a hotel suite with only one bedroom. She did not have a separate room. Oh, yeah, that's, when you're famous, you can do whatever you want. That's Garth Brooks. He's just, the whole flight. The whole flight, it's just him and her on the plane. They're going to Los Angeles. They know they're checking into a hotel. The whole flight, he doesn't tell her that, like, you're staying with me. Just expected it. He's like, come on, let's go up to the room. I guess we have to decide whether or not we think this is in character for Garth Brooks. It's certainly not in character for his public persona, right? And can we also establish just right from the beginning, what happened to Garth Brooks? Did he quit by choice? He's not really big and famous anymore. This is the most famous thing Garth Brooks has done in 20 years. Yeah, he was the biggest of all time. There was a period of time, he dominated the 90s. Garth Brooks is without doubt an American country music institution, hell, probably a crossover icon. He is massive. But he ain't done nothing in 20 years. It ain't like Garth Brooks is everywhere. Garth Brooks never became a movie star. He didn't transition to other forms of entertainment. So where's he been? What's going on? And now we got this. All right, there you have it. That's the Garth Brooks story. Let's see here. The Menendez brothers are back in the news. The Menendez brothers are going to get another trial. Well, it's not. They're not getting another trial. They're going to get a hearing on a new trial. And the way precedent has played out in the 30 years since they've been in prison, people who have appealed prior convictions in this way have gotten a new trial, and many of them have been let go. What this is all about is the Menendez attorneys are now going to claim that evidence of them being systematically molested by their father, who they killed, was not allowed to be admitted into evidence the first time around. And it wasn't. And they were just portrayed as murderers. But in the years since, we've changed a little bit, and the law has changed a little bit concerning these things. And subsequent cases that were similar, these kinds of evidences were admitted. And so they're going to say, look, they've done 30 years in jail. Okay? They've done 30 years in jail. We would like to tell the whole story, and maybe you'll go, 30 years is enough for what they did. And that's kind of what they're thinking. Menendez is going to get out. I haven't finished watching the Ryan Murphy Menendez thing on Netflix. Is it Netflix where the Menendez thing is? I think it is. I don't know. I watched like the first 3 episodes, and I think I like stopped. I think, what did I do? Oh, I started watching the Aaron Hernandez thing, and I like that better. I don't know. Whatever. They could get out. The Menendez brothers could get out, and quite frankly, maybe they should. They've spent 30 years in prison, and it seems to be pretty common knowledge now that their dad, who they murdered, was not a great guy. That he may have actually done some of these things. Anyway, there you have it. That's going to come up in November. The Menendez brothers are going to appeal and see if they can get a new trial based on the admission of evidence that was precluded from the initial case 30 years ago. Blackface. All right, so this is a funny story. So every time a blackface story comes up, I love the blackface stories because it's like, I don't know. I guess I pretty much knew you couldn't wear blackface since Ted Danson did it. Remember Ted Danson in like 1990? He did blackface and he got in trouble for it. And it was like at that point, I'm like 20 years old then. I'm like, oh, okay, so can't do that. So I'm not going to do that. Okay, it makes sense. I guess that is. Yeah, that's something I won't do. That's like 34 years ago, 35 years ago now. That like I've known that like you can't do blackface. So whenever these blackface things turn up, and they occurred like 20 years ago, this man went to a frat party in blackface. I'm like, 20 years ago was 2004. You were wearing blackface in 2004. You know what I mean? It's just weird. Like, I don't think it's that huge of a crime, but I just know don't get involved in that. Like, don't do it. Just don't do it. You don't need to head it. It's just stupid. It's dumb. Okay, so fine. I'm not going to do it. There's this guy, Mark Lawler. He's running for. Is he running for Congress? Yeah. A photo of Rep. Mike Lawler wearing blackface while dressed as Michael Jackson during his college years surfaced on Thursday in a New York Times article. Okay. So anyway, here's the thing. So I don't know if I have the picture. You can go find the picture, whatever. It's out there. It's a stupid picture. It's just a random picture from. He's dressed as Michael Jackson. He's got the Michael Jackson jacket on. He's got like a Michael Jackson wig, and he's got like, tan on his face. Isn't that ironic too? Like the least black guy, Michael Jackson, is the one that he gets in trouble for being blackface on. A guy that you probably didn't even really need to do blackface. If you're doing Michael Jackson, not really required, I wouldn't think, but he went there. So first and foremost, he didn't have the sense to go, maybe I shouldn't do blackface. Okay, so that's one thing. But his excuse for why he's in the blackface as Michael Jackson is even worse than him just wearing blackface. He says that he did it because he was obsessed at that time with Michael Jackson. He's one of these weirdo Michael Jackson super fans who, are you ready for this? He's running for Congress in New York. This is why I say his excuse for why he was in blackface, it's not he wasn't making fun of, is because he absolutely loved and adored Michael Jackson to the extent that he would sometimes dress up like him. All right? He was one of those guys. He lived in New York. He got on a plane as a young man and he flew to Los Angeles to attend the trial of Michael Jackson so that he could protest on behalf of Michael Jackson. Do you remember when that trial was going on and you saw all the weird Michael Jackson people crying and doing all? He's one of them. He's one of them. And he wants to be a congressman. You fucking people, man. You fucking people, you are electing weirdo after weirdo. This is the dude who in his 20s traveled cross country to attend the trial of Michael Jackson. Oh, and also, he got kicked out. He got kicked out of the Michael Jackson trial because, are you ready for why? Here's why. And he thinks this like makes him a good dude. Well, I want to tell you why I was in blackface. I love Michael Jackson. In fact, I love Michael Jackson so much that I was banned from his court case. I was banned from the courtroom in Los Angeles. What did you do? Well, the mother of one of the victims got up and she said something about Michael and I scoffed loudly. You fucking asshole. You are one of those weird Michael Jackson people. I don't give a shit that you were in blackface. I'm more interested now knowing that you're one of those weird fucking Michael Jackson people. Michael Jackson was an incredible performer, a super talent, an American icon. His music will be remembered forever. But he was a weird guy, and he's only surpassed in weirdness by the people who ran to his defense, like the dude running for Congress in New York State. Screw that guy. Mike Lawler. All right, you're weird. You should have just said, look, it was a bit. I was in college. I wasn't really thinking about it. I'm sorry. I look back on it now, and what an idiot. But hey, who among us weren't idiots back when they were in college? And that's it. He could have moved on. But no, instead he went, yeah, I was very, very energized by what I felt was the false and persecutorial prosecution of Michael Jackson. So I went out there, I cashed in my college money, and I flew to Los Angeles to attend his trial. Really? You attended his trial? How many days? Well, just the one, because I was immediately kicked out for scoffing at the mother of one of his victims. But I want your vote for Congress. What are we doing, people? What are we doing? Fucking idiot. Anyway, that's Rep. Mike Lawler. Good luck to you, bro. Good luck. Here we got some details about Diddy and some party guests that he had. These lists keep coming out, but this one has some pictures. Let's show these pictures. This is a go-go dancer / prostitute. She was paid by Diddy to attend some of these parties. Now, I still, with all these Diddy details, well, that's a podcast. That's a podcast. The Diddy details. That's a podcast. There's people already doing Diddy podcasts that are way more into it than me. Anyway, there are all bunches of Diddy details coming out, but this is a stripper / prostitute, a go-go dancer, if you will, because she's got class. She is talking to the Globe, and she is talking about her experience being paid to attend and have sex with celebrities at the Diddy parties. So first of all, let's look at her. This comes with pictures. We'll look at her. And, you know, guys, this also earlier today when I said prostitutes aren't hot. I don't know why TV and movies try to make us think prostitutes are hot, but prostitutes are gross. This sort of bolsters that because this is a woman that was paid $500 to attend Diddy parties. And I don't know, man. I got to be honest. If she was like, you want a date? I'd be like, are you a dude? This chick kind of looks like a dude. Here she is. This is that's the woman, the go-go dancer that Diddy paid to have sex with celebrity. If I'm like a celebrity, like let's just say I'm Ashton Kutcher or Leonardo DiCaprio and Diddy throws this at me, I'm like, bruh, really? I'm Leonardo DiCaprio. What are you giving me here? You wouldn't feed a king dog food, would you? All right, so this is her go-go dancer who was pimped out at Diddy's freak-offs reveal, are you ready for this? She's got 3 names. 3 names of people that she saw at these parties. All of them. Well, 2 of them I'm not surprised by because I think they're both pieces of garbage. The third one I'm a little surprised by, except I shouldn't be surprised by because she's an icon in the music business and I could see Diddy wanting her presence there. All right, so here we go. So the go-go dancer is telling stories about the parties that she went to and her seeing and encountering at these parties 3 people. Are you ready? Presidential candidate Donald Trump. Well, of course, we've already seen the pictures. We know he went to Diddy's white parties, and there's pictures here I'll show you in a minute. We know that he's with Epstein, he's with Diddy, he's with Michael Jackson. Does this mean that he's that? No, it just means that he's been famous for a very long time, and he meets and takes pictures with a lot of other famous people. But we'll go on. The other one, Al Sharpton. That's right. I told you about Al Sharpton yesterday. I hate that guy, that son of a bitch. He's the same. He's the black Trump to me. That's what he is. He's the black Trump. Or Trump is the white Sharpton. Either way, it works both ways. The third one here, and this is the one that I don't want to get her involved in this, but, she probably went. She's like, Diddy is the hot thing of the modern contemporary music scene, and Diddy probably worships this woman. And so, she was like, I want to feel relevant. I know I'm an icon and a legend and all that, but I'm going to show up at a Diddy party. Diana Ross hanging out at a Diddy party. She ain't banging anybody in the freak-off room. I don't know about Sharpton. Sharpton's probably into that. All right, so what else do we have here? Should we look at some pictures? All right, here we go. We got these pictures. So that's her. She was paid $500 each time. She attended 8 of these parties. What do we got here? This is Diana Ross. It looks like Ja Rule, too. Was that who it is? Yeah, it looks like, okay, so we got Diana Ross. Look at her in the middle. This is, I think, a white party. Why do you think it's a white party? I don't know. They're all kind of wearing white. Let's see here. What else do we have? Any other pictures of people? Yeah, there he is at one of his white parties. See, again, what is the difference between the Diddy white party and the Diddy freak-offs? Did the freak-offs happen after the white parties? Because the white parties were very public, very high profile. He'd do a white party and Entertainment Tonight would be out on the dock. Diddy's throwing his white party tonight, like that kind of thing. So one was kind of public and socially acceptable, the white party. But then apparently the freak-offs, were they a different event altogether, or were the freak-offs a part of the white party scene? I don't know. I need these answers. All right, let's see. More pictures here. Who else we got? Oh, look at them. Diana Ross and Al Sharpton. Look at Al. So we'll get I really like Diana Ross, so this is a gross picture for me because I do not like Diddy and I do not like Sharpton, but there they are. Oh, there's Diddy hamming it up with the president. You know what? If I ever meet Melania Trump, you know what I'm going to say to her? I'm going to say, hi, Melania, are you having a good time? And if she says, yeah, I'm going to say, tell your face. Look at her. She's fucking always pissed off. She's got resting, sending the soup back face. She's fucking pissed about her meal. That is her resting face. Still hot, though. I'm not going to lie. She is still hot for an older woman. I'll give her that. Who's this? This is Diddy and another dude. Diddy and Ja Rule. Diddy and Paris Hilton. That's not surprising. I assume Paris Hilton would be there. Oh, man. Paris Hilton didn't get into the freak-offs. Did you see her sex tape? Paris Hilton is a terrible lay. Terrible. Dead fish. She's like just not into it. She is just, and I guess a lot of times chicks like this, they're like that. So I've heard. I don't know. I know dudes who've had sex with hot looking girls. Apparently that's just like a thing. They don't think they have to, she's not good. So my point is this. Having seen Paris Hilton have sex, I can tell you she's not ready for what I'm of the understanding consisted of a freak off at Diddy's house. So I don't think she's ready for that. Who else do we got? Oh, that's it. Remember when Diddy apologized like 6 months ago? I'm so sorry. Now he's in jail. That's some go-go dancers, I guess, at a Diddy party. And there they are, their Diddy party. I don't know, whatever. I'm going to say it, though. I'll be honest with you. If I was invited to a Diddy party, I'd go. And so would you. You totally would go. So that's why I think about all of these names who are being, sort of tethered to these parties. You know, I'm like, so what? I would go. If I was like a mid-level Hollywood star on like a sitcom or something, and I found my way an invite to a Diddy party with all of those superstars, that moment of the zeitgeist, you of course would go. Everybody went. That's why these guest lists, man, they don't tell us everything. I don't think Donald Trump was participating in a freak-off. I don't think Al Sharpton was participating in a freak-off. I don't think Diana Ross was participating in a freak-off yet because they attended these parties. They are being, lumped in with all of that. What else do we have here? How about LA? LA's got robot dogs now. Did you see this story? Hold on. There's a Marianne Ginger argument going on in the chat room, and you know how I love my Marianne Ginger arguments. Anyway, we'll talk about robot dogs. So Los Angeles, they've got a new weapon against crime. It's a robot dog, and it's one of the freakiest things ever. The dog is just running around the streets of L.A. They say it weighs 60 pounds. Hold on, is that what it is, 60 pounds? Let me show you what this dog looks like. I don't know what they're using it for. But people are, of course, some people are freaking out. They're like, you need to have humanity with your police. You can't just have robots arresting people. Okay, well, whatever. Here, let me show you the robot dog. It's really freaky. All right, here we go. Yeah, we'll watch this news report from, what is this? Dude. Yeah, all right, here, check this out. So tell me, how'd you feel about this? You okay with your town having these? I'm not really against it, but there are people freaking out in LA. I guess I hadn't really considered it. What does having a robot dog police force do to civic? I don't know what I'm talking about. Here we go. Hold on.
Shake, but he is not your average canine. He can sit, stay, and even shake, but he is not your average canine. Meet Spot, the LAPD's newest mechanical crime fighter. Police say the robo-dog enhances officer safety, but opponents fear its impact on vulnerable communities.
KTLA's Jennifer McGraw shows us how this high-tech hound is protecting lives and property.
Meet Spot, similar to a 70-pound golden retriever in ability and stature, but some would say the futuristic hound is quite shocking to the eye. A robot on LAPD's staff that can do what others can't.
The arm can open doors, it could pick up objects, it could drag up to 50 pounds.
And walk around just about anything.
In, say, a cluttered room, where some of our ground robotics couldn't do that in the past.
Deputy.
I bet you this thing is stupid expensive for the city of Los Angeles. And I bet you the first time they use it for something, it's going to fall over on its side and it's not going to be able to get back up.
Chief David Kalawaski is the commanding officer for counterterrorism and special operations in the department.
The main reason that we acquired Spot is to save lives.
The LAPD deploying a robot dog.
Months ago on a Metro bus, a barricaded suspect stopped traffic. After exhausting all efforts, the LAPD deployed Spot and finding an armed man passed out.
They identified a weapon by his feet, and the Spot came up and safely took the weapon away from him.
But there is some controversy surrounding Spot. Some are scared of it. They say he looks
Does it bark at black people? Is that the problem? Because, boy, they really made it like a dog.
Intimidating. Others fear it could be used for militarization, but that's not the case.
The manufacturer would forbid us from using this technology if we made any attempt to weaponize it.
There are concerns with other robotic companies. For example, in Ukraine, they've unleashed the robot dogs of war, not for combat per se, but to detect dangerous situations, including mines and Russian forces, which some have major concerns.
Am I crazy, or do the Ukrainian robot dogs seem way cooler than the Los Angeles police robot dogs? The Ukrainian dogs, you see that thing jump?
For future warfare. For now, here in Los Angeles.
Look, I know they're saying that they aren't going to arm these things, but look at that. You could mount a rifle. You could mount anything on there. No, we're not going to arm it. Yeah, get back to me in 5 years.
Another worry. Some fear Spot can negatively impact communities of color, targeting, profiling, and terrorizing.
I think that people are concerned in our communities because Spot follows a long and flawed history of predictive policing in Los Angeles.
Brittany Freedom is an assistant professor for the Department of Sociology.
All right, I don't need to get into all that. Fine, we're just having fun with a robot dog. I don't need to get into the social costs. I don't know what they need it for. I look at that and I think that's one of those examples of because we can do something, we're doing it, but we don't really need to do it. It's not really just because technology makes something, you can do something differently doesn't mean that you're doing it now better than the way you've been doing it before. They'll figure out a way. They will figure out a way to mount a shotgun on that thing. And I'm telling, no, we're not. It's never going to be armed. Yeah, it'll be armed. Armed terrorists take over the Hollywood theater there on Sunset. You're going to send in a whole bunch of well-armed robot dogs. You'll see. All right, hey, here's another thing. Let's check this out. This was big breaking news yesterday, and somehow, I don't know why, but I didn't cover it, and I should have, but, I wanted to, I meant to. What happened at the end of the show yesterday? Remember we had, absolutely nothing to talk about? We were, spinning our wheels. I had this story. I don't know why I didn't do it. Maybe because I'm not all that impressed by it. I'm not. I should be. It sounds fascinating, but, first of all, let's talk about me. Hi, I'm Pugs. I love McDonald's. I've told you that for years. I love McDonald's. I think we take McDonald's for granted. There is a McDonald's within walking distance of absolutely everybody in America. And because of that, we have people going around saying stupid shit like, Five Guys has the best burgers. Oh, shut up. If there was a Five Guys within walking distance of your house, you'd never go to it. And you'd be like, they're overrated. Shut up. McDonald's pound for pound is the finest fast food an American worker has ever produced. I love McDonald's. To say nothing of the apex work they have done in the field of potatoes. Nobody does potatoes better than McDonald's, whether we're talking French fries, hash browns. Okay, that's it. But nobody does potatoes better than McDonald's. Nobody serves Coca-Cola better than McDonald's. I've talked about this too. The fountain system of Coca-Cola at McDonald's restaurants is different than any Coca-Cola you will get anywhere else. They are allowed at McDonald's to use more syrup to create a sweeter Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola doesn't allow anybody to fuck with their formula anywhere else. You go to a gas station, you get Coca-Cola, you are getting an amount of Coca-Cola with syrup and water mixture. You are getting the amount that is dictated by the Coca-Cola company to ensure that there is, uniform taste. Not McDonald's. McDonald's is allowed to do something a little bit different. Why? Because they buy so much of it. And Coca-Cola's like, yeah, whatever, man. You just keep buying it. Special rule for McDonald's. So McDonald's is awesome. Don't get me wrong. I am a little pissed off at McDonald's. I used to use the McDonald's app all the time because they had this evergreen offer, which was buy a Big Mac, get a Big Mac free, which is like 2 Big Macs for like $5. Whoa, that's dinner. That's dinner for $5. That's pretty good. Yeah, they took that off. They took that off because too many of us poor people were apparently taking advantage of that. And they're like, the poor people can't be happy. So they took it off. So fuck you, McDonald's, and your always changing value menu. It's barely a value menu anymore. I got to be honest with you. There's what can I get for $1? At least over at Taco Bell, their value menu, I can still get something for $1. Anyway, enough about that. McDonald's is introducing a brand new sandwich, and oh my goodness, I don't know how I feel about it. I should trust McDonald's. McDonald's introduces new things all the time, and they're always delicious. And if they're not, I never order them. Like the wrap. What do you mean you don't order McDonald's chicken wrap? I'm not going to McDonald's for a chicken wrap. Okay, I'm going to McDonald's for a double cheeseburger. That's you people. But I want to eat healthy. Then stay away from fucking McDonald's. How about that? Let's start there. You don't need to go to McDonald's. They made a Big Mac with chicken. There you go. That's the big story. That's a chicken Big Mac. The McDonald's near you will now be offering a chicken Big Mac. And I don't know how I feel about this. I will say this. The McDonald's McChicken, which is on the value menu, which I think you can get one for like $1.29 or something, which is pretty good, especially so you just get 4 of them. And now you're like at $6, but you got 4 McChickens. It's pretty good. That's a meal. You fill up. You won't need to eat anything else all day. I promise you. Trust me, I've been living that way. Anyway, also, pro tip, if you get the McChicken from McDonald's off the value menu and you want to really turn up the volume on it a little bit, when you go through the drive-thru, tell them you want the hot mustard. Don't let them give you the honey mustard. Oh, my God. I would say we're at 7 out of 10 times I go through a McDonald's drive-thru and I say to the person, "Can I get some hot mustard?" They'll go, "Yeah, sure thing, man." And they'll like reach out and then they'll hand me like a handful of honey mustards. No, I said hot. Well, I don't even know if we have that. You do. You do have it. Nobody likes it except me, and it's excellent on a McChicken. So get yourself a hot mustard, pour the hot mustard on the McChicken, eat that. It's beautiful. So I guess the premise they're asking us to take a bite of is they're going to replace the burger meat on a Big Mac with with the McChicken patties, which is it's weird for me because I know that's probably good. That's probably a pretty good burger, but I don't. McDonald's new Big Mac isn't a burger at all. It's a chicken Big Mac. 2 chicken patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles on a sesame seed bun. Wait, chicken? Huh? Yes, that's correct. The chicken Big Mac is coming to McDonald's starting on October the 10th. Gonna have to get me one of those. What are they gonna charge? Like, oh, it's special time only, $9. Let's see here. Apparently it was over in Europe. They were selling these over in Europe, and those people were like, these are good. And so they're coming here. A special Big Mac is about to hit the McDonald's menu, and it's not the return of the double Big Mac. Good. We didn't need the double Big Mac. The double Big Mac was a little bit much. I don't think we need the double Mac. The newcomer is the Chicken Big Mac, which had previously been tested in international markets, including over in the UK. Can I just say that if I was in the UK, and this is only because I've been to the UK before, and so, fool me once, and I walked into a McDonald's, I wouldn't get anything with meat. I would only get chicken. Have you ever had meat in the UK, like beef, like ground beef, like hamburger meat? Have you ever had a hamburger from like a place in England or Ireland? Holy shit, are they gross. I'm an American corn-fed cattle. When I bite into a hamburger, it's got a specific taste. Any variation from the taste that I expect leads me to think that the meat is spoiled, right? There's something wrong with this meat. It doesn't taste right. That is every bite of a British hamburger. Every bite of a British hamburger is like, and they say it's because our cows, they don't eat corn, they eat grass. I'm like, well, these cows ain't as tasty as our cows. Our cows are awesome. And English cows or European cows or African cows, I don't know where they get these cow meat from. They suck. So if I'm in England, I'm probably not getting a Big Mac anymore. I got one once. Actually, it wasn't even a Big Mac. It was just like some hamburger over there. And I ate it, and I'm like, oh, God, I think this meat is spoiled. And then the person I was with was like, no, it's just a different kind of meat. Yeah, I know. Hamburgers taste different here. My hamburgers taste terrible here. They taste terrible. So if I'm over in the UK and they offer a chicken mac, I'm like, I get it. I understand why you're offering a chicken mac. Because chicken eat the same thing, right? Chicken eat same thing, maybe? I don't know. A special Big Mac is about to hit the McDonald's. The newcomer is the Chicken Mac. It was in the UK and it was tested in Miami back in 2022. The sandwich is coming to McDonald's nationwide starting October the 10th. The new sandwich will swap out the 2 all-beef patties on the traditional Big Mac for a pair of tempura battered chicken patties. Is that like special to this sandwich? Or because I seriously, just throw the McChicken patties on there. Those are good. I don't need tempura battered. Unless that's what you're going to tell me, like if you were to like fancily describe the McChicken, would you describe it as it's a tempura battered? If that's what you're using, then yeah, cool. But otherwise, I don't need anything special. You're already doing McChicken meat good. The new sandwich swaps out the all beef patties, blah, blah, blah. Let's see, a tempura battered chicken patty. Otherwise, the ingredients and toppings are the exact same thing as a Big Mac. It's a Big Mac bun, Big Mac sauce, cheese, lettuce, and pickles. All right. What else do we need to know? Sandwich made a surprise appearance in Los Angeles last weekend at the chain pop-up dining experience. McDonald's has pop-ups? Where would a McDonald's pop-up happen? In a closed-down McDonald's? Like there are McDonald's everywhere. What is a McDonald's pop-up? I'm so glad you did a McDonald's pop-up in my neighborhood. I'm so tired of walking 2 blocks to get to a McDonald's. Anyway, that's good. This is good stuff. We should be happy about this. We like this. See, look at this. It started out, I was conflicted. I was like, I don't know if that's going to be good. And now here we've talked through it. and I'm thinking that I like it. All right, let's move on. Yeah, that's going to do it. Hey, you know what? That's it for today. Let's talk about this though. I want to show you this one thing. I don't know if you caught it last night. Did you guys see Thursday Night Football last night? Excuse me. Falcons, or I should say Buccaneers at Falcons. It was pretty awesome. It was a pretty good game. It was a really good game. It was a fun game. Two interesting quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins, who nobody respects but me. I've been telling you people for years, y'all going to get cousined. You don't know what it means to get cousined. You going to get cousined. I've been cousined numerous times by him with the Minnesota Vikings over the years. Kirk Cousins is a really great quarterback who, for some reason, nobody respects. But that's fine. Y'all going to get cousined. Well, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers got cousined last night. They were winning the whole game. Baker Mayfield, by the way, I love Baker Mayfield. I know that sounds blasphemous, but Baker Mayfield, I've always enjoyed. I always thought he was, when people were like, why is he in every commercial? I'm like, well, because he's enjoyable. Well, I hate the fact that he's enjoyable, so fuck that guy. A lot of people just kind of pushed back on Baker Mayfield for a while there. I don't know. He's a dude, man. I like him. But here's the other thing about Baker Mayfield. He's a star. Like, he is a star in every regard. I'm not talking about being able to play the game of football at the talent level that he brings to quarterback. That's a sliding scale, and he's fine at it. He's proven that he can do that at the elite level. He's good. He's not, nobody's calling him Josh Allen, or maybe. I don't know. My point is this. He's a star in every other way. He is a big personality. He is funny. He is witty, and he can fucking act, man. Did you see that thing? I don't know if you saw this last night on Thursday Night Football, but they did this prank, and this isn't an original prank. It's been done for years. Actually, the first time I ever saw this prank, it was Jared Goff when he was a rookie, or after coming off of his rookie year with the Rams. And it's the prank where they send an NFL quarterback to tryouts for some junior college team or something. And then, he's always so much better. And then the reveal is, oh, I'm an NFL quarterback, and everybody laughs. Jared Goff did it first. It was really good. We've seen Eli Manning do it. Eli Manning did another one of these things. Hold on a second. Hold on. Hold on. I got to do this. I'll start. This is, sorry. Hold on. What the hell? My phone is going crazy. I'm not even touching anything. Ugh. All right, never mind. I'm not going to be distracted by that. So last night they showed Baker Mayfield kind of did a version of the undercover quarterback bit, but he did it better than any of the ones that I've seen. Baker Mayfield was funny. Baker Mayfield has comedy chops. Baker Mayfield is witty. So here was the premise. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers awarded a behind-the-scenes tour of the Tampa Bay Buccaneer facilities and their museum and all that stuff to a group of Tampa Bay Buccaneer superfans. Now, embedded somewhere inside that superfan group was Baker Mayfield, wearing makeup and a costume, and he was playing a guy. Is it Gus Swayze? Gus Swayze is the name of the character that Baker Mayfield is playing. And you guys, he was funny. He was really funny. And so none of these other people in the group of super fans knew it was Baker Mayfield. I'm not sure, if any of the guides knew it was him or not, but it was very funny the way he comported himself. So let me show you this. Well, this is just the beginning. You can find the whole thing on YouTube. All you got to do is look up Gus Swayze on YouTube. But it's Baker Mayfield going undercover, blending in with a group of Tampa Bay Buccaneers super fans. Let's watch this for a minute. We're not going to watch the whole thing because it's actually a 30-minute special, but the opening kind of gives us all of it. So watch this. And how can you not like Baker Mayfield? Baker Mayfield is funny, man.
Hey! What if I told you one of these Tampa Bay Buccaneers superfans is actually quarterback Baker Mayfield in disguise? That's because I've selected him to go undercover to look at himself and his sport through the eyes of a fan.
First of all, he looks hysterical. as Gus Swayze, Buccaneer superfan.
I heard Baker's going to get to call some of his own plays this year.
I hope he can handle it.
He's going to rub elbows.
Gus Swayze, nice to meet you.
Break rules.
Let's try not to touch anything.
He's ready to throw the football over here.
There's always one.
And limp his way.
No more cartilage in there.
Into the history books.
I should have gone pro when I had the chance.
What the hell was that?
This is The Undercovers.
We had a cheater in the group. Oh my God! We all had no idea.
The legend of Gus Swayze.
Let's go see time to shine.
All right, there you have it. That's the legend of Gus Swayze as performed by Baker Mayfield. You can find the full 30 minutes. It's a 30-minute video of, this whole thing that went on, but that's pretty much gives you a taste of it. He was very funny. I mean, he's just funny. Like, just his natural reaction to things, he stayed in character. Like, he was in character the whole time until they got to the field where they're like, hey, everybody want to throw the ball to see how far we can throw it? And, like, all these super fans are throwing it, like, 25 yards and 30 yards. And then Gus Swayze gets in there and, he's Baker Mayfield. So he just launches a rocket. Like, and they're like, whoa! It was very funny. It was very funny. Again, not an original bit. We've seen it a number of times, but that was the best one to me anyway. That was Gus Swayze, Baker Mayfield. I like that kid. I like him. I mean, I've never rooted for any of the teams that he plays for, so I've never, had my heart broken by one of his mistakes. So maybe that has something to do with it. But I do like him as a personality. He seems like a good guy. Yeah, Peter says Baker's a dude. He seems like he's a dude, man. He seems like he's a dude, and good for him. Good for him. He's going to have his career. Looks like he's straightened it out. Looks like he's matured. Looks like he's a dependable. Man, that game last night, just not for nothing, that was a hell of a good game. The South was supposed to be an absolute, forgettable division. They were going to be scraping. That's a good division, man. Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons, man, they're not a joke of a team. Tampa Bay with Baker Mayfield, they're not a joke of a team. That was a really good game last night. New Orleans, we thought New Orleans was going to be the Super Bowl champion after 2 weeks, right? When we were all second week stupid and New Orleans had won their first two games by like 40 points. We're like, oh my God, it's the greatest show on turf, part 2. The New Orleans Saints are going to go undefeated. Well, they came back to earth. But anyway, that division is no joke. That division is no joke. I'm out of stuff. I got nothing else to say, folks. If you can't help the show, now would be the time. We're going to shut it down. I don't think we made it this month. That sucks. Have to put it together over the weekend and figure out what we can do moving forward. Have a great weekend. As I said, I think I'm going to get my kid, which is good because I like hanging out with him. We got a Bears game. We watch that on Saturday or Sunday. Cowboys game at 3:00, so we'll do that. Yeah, there you go. It's football weekend. Are there any good college games? Because I didn't think I was going to be hanging out with my kid watching football this weekend, but maybe I am. Is there a good college game? Is it the Red River? Is it Red River? Is that what's going on? It is, right? Is it? I don't know. God, why do I feel so detached from my community? I'm so hot. I'm so sweaty. I was reading something that I think it was Adam posted. I can't believe how out of the loop on college football that I've become in the last 3 weeks. I came into this college football season completely dialed in and ready to be a college football nut. And then my Irish lost to Northern Illinois. And I was like, fuck this. And now I'm barely watching college football at all. Rodeo says, monetize my channel. You monetize my channel. I don't know what that means. All right, guys, we're out of here. Tip the show if you can. We appreciate you. We'll try and keep it going. But, as with everything, it's a very depressing day. Love you guys. We'll see you back tomorrow. Have a good weekend. Be cool to one another. We'll rally back here at noon on Monday. Maybe, probably. Yeah, we are. Who am I kidding? I have to do this. You people keep me sane. Love you all. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye for now.